are the American Indians. Copper color Indians, baby. A real Indian, American Indian is me, not from Africa. Remember that.
African Americans here, but they recently moved here from places like Kenya, Ethiopia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Zaire. But now the brother whose family's lived in this country for generations, occupying space in all the locations, New York, Miami, LA, Detroit, Chicago, even if he's wearing a dashiki and sporting an afro. And if you go to Africa in search of your race, you'll find out quick, you're not an African American. You're just a black American in Africa taking up space. Why you keep trying to attach yourself to a continent where even if you got the chance to go and you went, most people that wouldn't even claim you as one of them, as a purebred daughter or son of them. Your heritage is right here now.
And we are not Africans. We are not African. Are you an African, baby? I'm not no African. Nigga, you a lying motherfucker. Nigga talking about we African. You African, nigga.
So, Dama. Woo! Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Yo, there's so many, hey, there's so many, yo, there's so many, yo, there's so many lies. Look in my eyes, they know I'm the truth. They know that. Knocking them down every time I step in the booth. We ain't gotta lie, they know we the vibe, we living in proof. It's young, conscious, shoot my life a movie, I live in a spoof. Ain't no sticking around, I'm on the move, I'm checking the dudes. Yeah, it's only us two, so you know we copping that coupe. We on the roof, smoking dope, look at the view. Yeah, we used to chill on the stoop, now we out here breaking the news. It ain't what you really could do, cause we ain't got nothing to lose. We ain't switched side with no cruise, we just stayed out of the loop. Now we out here letting it loose, every shot we took it was swoosh. Gotta get it, ain't no excuse, ain't left to prove. Hey, yeah, hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Yo, there's so many, hey, there's so many, yo, there's so many.
Yeah, ask them a real question, yeah, I bet it's all lies. Hey, they won't cross that line for a fact that's offside. Hey, too much penalties when they run this back, yeah, it's fines. Hey, could've been here with us, but we do not force no vibes. Hey, she gon' try to whip and let me park it in the driveway. They just want the praise like they Yahweh. Getting so much bread, yeah, the ride way. We done already won, yeah, that's worth the ride way. But they still lying right through their teeth, and they still hiding behind many truths. They was D9, watch my every move, tell them keep time. Leave that shit on scene, I ain't replying. Less I know you, that don't mean I'm Hollywood. That just mean I'm Hollywood. All y'all, I probably stood on the falls, all cause. More times I probably should. I don't know nobody like us. You see how much time it took.
Yeah, hey, there's so many lies, so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies, so many, there's so many, hey, there's so many, yo, there's so many. Whoa.
Hey, there's too many lies. Hey, yeah, ISO, Indies, Dama.
ISO, Dama. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies.
Time's been moving slowly, so we already in too deep. Can't get no sleep on each other, heavy teasing all day, and when the sun sets, you asking me to come through, kick it with you. Night turn to morning dew, then you feel it rushing and lose control. You don't wanna go slow, for sure. We both already know your place is my place now. My place is your place, let's face it. Baby, you know all the places. key to the lock, we in our own zone. Make yourself at home, get to know mine on the inside. Can meet at yours next time. In you, feel it fresh and lose control. You don't wanna go slow, for sure. We both already know your place is my place. Now my place is your place. Let's face it, baby. You know all the places. My place is your place. Your place is my place. Just face it. No one knows my places like you do. Your places like I do. My place like you do.
Hey, y'all. Hey, family. What's good, y'all? I hope everything is all right for a Tuesday, right? Hopefully the week go by faster. I think it is. Because when you take Monday off, the week goes by fast. So tomorrow's already the middle of the week, and we going to make it over hump day. Wednesday is hump day. Hey, Wednesday is hump day. I'm going to make it light today. And some of the stuff that I talk about is probably going to be a little upsetting. It could be. Depends on how mature our minds are, of course. Of course. I am definitely not talking about the puffy stuff. It's too disgusting. It's just something that's just not of interest to me at all. They're talking about it enough in YouTube, Twitter, on every damn major platform. So I don't need to talk about it. Hey, Lady Moon. Hey, Anthony Lowe, Bucky 203, Low Gang. Salute everybody watching. Oh, I know Twitter's lit right now because I see it. I do see it, especially when it comes to talking about Connecticut education. But I really want to get into today of the topic, indoctrination, U.S. public education, along with family community, the Indians that remain, the consequences. I mean, if we didn't go to Oklahoma, even if we did go to Oklahoma, like the other Indians did, there still would have been consequences, as you can see. They burned down Black Wall Street for those Indians that did not want to be on the reservations in Oklahoma. They built Wall Street and decided not to be a part of Wall Street, of the reservation. They built a community in all the different states where we Indians remained. Mississippi, every state that we were in, and we decided not to go to Oklahoma. We built businesses, and what did they do? So it's damn if we do, damn if we didn't. It would have been consequences there, and of course, where we stay. What did they do? They dismantled all colored businesses. They dismantled it, period, because we were a prospering community. We were not even suffering during the Great Depression. We really weren't. Other foreigners were, and they were upset because we were making so much and doing so much of our original customs, man. I mean, Big Mama was making honey, jelly, all kinds of preserves, and we was just booming and selling everything. We were making wallpaper. We was just making so much stuff, and it was dismantled. So I want to get into indoctrination, and I'm not. Hi, Medea. Hi, Sharice. Hey, girly. I'm not here to cause division. I have to tell you the truth, at least the truth as I see it and I find it, and how what I'm observe. And you have to understand every place, straight smoke, stranger, every time, every time a foreigner comes here from third world countries, they're, they have always been brought here to replace you, replace things you would not do. See, we had our own businesses and we were accustomed to having our own businesses. And to go and work in somebody else's corporation, it was always very uncomfortable for our people. We were not used to working for people in that manner. We learned that when we're in corporate management and in other businesses, we a lot of times we always find the easier way when we're working for someone. We always, as a people, and it's just in us, we always find an easier way to complete a project from start to finish. And that's not so accepted by a lot of corporate management because we're supposed to be dumb, feeble minded people and not be able to figure out how to do something smoothly from the beginning to the end. And when we're put in people's, hired in people's company, and that happens, it upsets people who are thought to be and taught to be superior of you. And you should not make any superior moves in their companies. And you should continue to do it the most difficult way because that's the way you were trained to do it in somebody else's business. So therefore, many of our ancestors were aggravated and they didn't need the education to do a project, complete a project from A to Z. And when we end up doing that, anger comes because they want you to prolong it, make it seem like it's drastically so much work, when in fact, all you really want to do is complete the job and keep it moving. You know, you have people that just come around in businesses and create a fucking mess. They have to create a fucking mess so that it looks like they're going to fix the problem. So you do have people, and me, I can't stand to work with no motherfuckers like that. Create a huge mess, okay? And then call on them for guidance. Fuck you, I'm going to fix it. And I'm going to do it my way. And I'm going to do it comfortable as long as I'm within the rights of completing it. Get your stupid, simple ass out of here. That's me. I want to do it right. And I want to get it done and over with. I'm not going to put some foot around with your mess that you keep creating just so you can look good. Get your ass out of here. So we find that we can't work with these motherfuckers. So what do? We're supposed to create our own businesses, y'all. Every foreigner that comes here is to replace you because prior to the, let's say, African enslavement, so called, it was always Indian enslavement. It was always enslavement of the Indians that remained because the majority of the Indians did remain and didn't go to Oklahoma. And it was a great thing because those are the Indians that they used to build their structures and do everything. And you need to understand that structure after structure after structure. The Indians that remained took on those tasks because number one, we knew how to build on our land. We know how to use the tools that were on our land to build structures. And who be it at best to do this? The Indians that remained. They understood their land, and they know the things that they knew the things you could use from the land to build your land. So we were always the employed people under the colonizers, because when we remained in our original territories, which expanded to be their territories by way of conquering, by way of seeding. Yeah. And we automatically became these damn citizens that we never filled out paperwork for. Okay. Never filled out paperwork to become citizens. It was just an order from the federal government because you were within the confines and jurisdiction of in colonial lands, whether it was your former territory or not. So you became poll tax, everything after they reclassified the Indian that remained. And that reclassification was a B for black. It went from being colored to black to, well, colored to Negro to black in English, which is Negro in Spanish. So they used the ink, they took away the usage of the Spanish word Negro, and when they reconstructed the paperwork and the census sheets, they put you down as B for black. So I say this because it's research that I can find and I visually see what happens. Now, let me tell you the next thing. The next thing that happens is you have foreigners, and I don't even care if they were born here. Foreigners from the islands that look like us, but we're not us. And I'm sorry I have to say that, but it's true. We can say, unfortunately, you guys, we have foreigners that are Africans, but given another name. But some of them are not. We literally have foreigners that can trace their ancestry to an African ancestor on British paperwork. We don't have that on our mainland. We are always have been noted as the Indian that remained, okay, based on our physical, which is colored, the people of color. And you have to understand that just because some people look like us are not us, literally. There are people from the islands raised with their custom, and it's easy. They've always been put here to replace you because the Indians got tired of building structures for these people. They got tired of doing this shit and taking on these servitude jobs. They got tired of being employed and at the same time always being the second class citizen. Second class because there was literally no paperwork, you guys, that stipulated that we were indeed protected citizens. There's no paperwork that our ancestors signed that said we are protected citizens. It would have been a problem to create such a paperwork back in those days, because now you're not being going to be recorded as a colored. You are literally going to be recorded as an Indian that remained that Indian. You were not, your physical description of an Indian that remained was colored. That's why they always went by your physical description being colored. You have to ask yourselves, why is it that these remaining Indians are being classified based on their color rather than who they are? You have to really ask yourself that question. So back then, you were not classified as a citizen. What paperwork, if you can tell me, what paperwork is there that you have, which came way later? There is one document that asserts you to be a citizen with protected class. It's a major document. And it came through your granddad registering for the services, the militia. That is the document that protected you. Yay or nay? Hi, James. Girly girl. Demisha, hey, beautiful. Hey, girly girl, beautiful. Those militia records are certainly one form of being an official uh, citizen. Yeah, you were literally forced to join the militia. You had to be 16 and up. We have the records. We have those records. Hey, way back in 1860, we have them. Your grandfather was not a registered African in any of the U.S. militias. Not Army, not Navy, not Air Force, not Marines. They were always registered as coloreds or a Negro. So way back then is what I'm saying, sisters and brothers. You became a second-class citizen. Mm. So I say this because the people that come around and visit and oftentimes visit our communities, they copper and visit our communities, are not here really not only to just get on our nerves, but they're looking for information so that they can update and correct. They're looking because their assignment is to know how much we know. How deep is the damage? How deep is the damage? How much information do you have to combat? And see, you only let a little bit out because you really have to. You really have to play their little game, the power game. The power game. And you have to know when to freeze and you know when to unfreeze. You don't give it all to them. I don't. They think they do. You give it back to them just the way that they give it to you. Hi, girl, dad, and you all you have to do is sit back and watch them. When you know the art of war, it's their own game. And the way you really beat them at their game is just to watch them play their own game. You don't join them. You watch them play their own game. There, you have to understand that there are people that are hired to come in here and do the things that they do. And the sad part is you don't know who the leader of it is. You don't know. You don't know who the leader is. You don't know which YouTube content creator is the leader to play the art of war. It could be Air Power. It could be A1. It could be Chief of the Day. It could be me. Serious. People, you know how deep this shit is. They could literally, you got to understand the ability of this government. You can make up a prison record and make it seem like you lived and did bad things in the street back in the 90s. They can fix up a record for you and put it out there and make it seem like you're really a bad person, a person with a past. They can make it look like you've been in prison and did a 10-year bid, and it's not even the fucking truth. That person, that YouTube content creator, could literally be the leader and you just don't know it. Yeah. That's how deep it is. And guess what? As a people, we're oftentimes taken in by this because you literally believe that somebody that is a YouTube content creator has a past kind of like yours. They sold drugs. They was in the streets. You see their record on file. And it's the fakest fucking record you ever could see. That's why you have to be very careful and watch people's actions and watch how they move. You have, this is the part about yourself that you don't understand. You can detect that energy. A lot of people always set their gut feelings aside. And it's your energy, it's the God in you, and it's the energy in you that gives you reason to believe that this person isn't real. They are really, I don't know why I feel like this person is some sort of law enforcement, but I don't know what it is. You have to trust your gut feeling. Correct. So true. You have to trust that gut feeling. You got to learn how to stop putting your gut feeling aside. A lot of us repress things. We repress so much because we think it's so not important. What you think is not important is important. We always second guess. We never trust our gut feeling. I don't care what nobody say, your brain is in your gut. We never trust our gut feelings. We never we respond to a particular energy that's a little off, but instead we quickly repress it. We repress energy from somebody real quick. And guess what? When something comes up about that particular individual, that repressed memory just shoots up immediately. Immediately. And it's all because you've been had that feeling and you just put it back there. Oh, now he couldn't be. He ain't no cop. He ain't with that. That nigga crazy. He he did this shit. I looked at the record. Did you really look at a real record? Or was it revealed to you to make you say, oh yeah, that's my nigga. He did a bit just like me. We in the same boat. Yeah, brother, I got no the fuck you're not. Pay attention to the vibes, to the energy. Why people continue to do things unnecessary. Why? Why do people do it? Is there a reason? Do they have a duty? You know when you hit a nerve. I've heard people say that they had West Indian that are not from the mainland that stated that they have a West Indian ancestor and they don't even fucking remember they said it. I check energy all the time. I check it. These dudes. See, we have U.S. education, right? The public school system. But we also have something that's way higher than that as a people. Prior to U.S. education, we always had something. We worked with our natural things about ourselves. We worked with the natural. A militia way of how you think, walk, talk, act has been imposed on you outside of the natural way that one does things. A lot of things that we did, our ancestors did, when I'm reading, it was very, very natural because it wasn't militarized in them. You got to understand, our ancestors were thrown into a prisoner of war lifestyle, and they had to accept the lifestyle. Our ancestors lived a prisoner of war lifestyle. The lifestyle and life that you live today, right now, at this moment, as we speak and communicate with each other, we are living a prisoner of war lifestyle. This lifestyle was not our lifestyle. It was a lifestyle imposed on us. And we became accustomed to being prisoners because on good behavior, we received protection and benefits from the enslaver. You know what those benefits are? Can you name some of them benefits? Because when you're a prisoner of war and you don't have benefits and you're a prisoner of war until you convert and indulge in the lifestyle that's put before us. If not, you are a continuous daily prisoner of war. And I don't know if people understand that. Convert or die. It's some serious shit, y'all. That is war tactic. Convert or die. Those were your options. So now, listen to me, y'all. Listen. Convert or die. Seriously, listen to that. Who are they talking to? They're not talking to Africans. Who do you think they're talking to when they told you? Hang on, y'all. Hang on. Ah. Does anyone know? Copper Aborigines. I'm going to ask you that question. I just pulled it up. Who said and what year did it say convert or die? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on now. Let me look and see what you got. Nope. Well, you could be right with the 1553, yes, but I'm speaking in the United States. It was more so. It was join or die. Join or die. Close. Let's go there, y'all. Let me make it a little bigger. I know you guys are gonna see this. You're gonna be like, oh. Here we go. You were close, David. I'm gonna go there. You guys should know this. I'm gonna spank all of you. Join or Die is a political cartoon that Benjamin Franklin put out in Pennsylvania Gazette on May 9th, 1754. The cartoon is a woodcut showing a snake cut into eighths. Okay. It was New England, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, and South Carolina. Join or die. The cartoon is a woodcut showing a snake cut into eighths, with each segment labeled with the initials of the American colonies or regions. The New England was represented as one segment rather than the four colonies it was at the time. So if you add four more, you get the other four northern colonies, which is Massachusetts, Maine, further up north. So New England represented the four of them that we didn't list. New England was represented as one segment rather than four colonies. Delaware was not listed separately as it was part of Pennsylvania. Georgia was omitted completely. As a result, it was 8 segments of a snake rather than the traditional 13. Now, so now, hey, Choctaw. So, yeah, see, I caught you on your feet, Copper Aborigine. Girly, let me see. I want to know why the natives want to be called Indians if that is their answer. Um, hey, Choctaw, reborn king of Thule. Um, so we have convert or die, and we have over here join or die. And they were saying join or die to the why. Does anyone know? Let's think about what was going on in the 1750s. Here in Connecticut, we had governors that looked like me, Indian governors. Now, you got to remember back during that time, they did enslave Indians in the 13 colonies. Those Indians that wanted to be, wanted to work in those colonies because they were the best. Yeah, you did, Copper. They were the best people to hire. And after a while, we were living our own ways and stuff. And after a while, okay, we're talking 1754. And then it built itself up. They're saying join or die. Yeah, it's an old cartoon. Because they was, looking to build up this new system because they know, they didn't like our system. It was too booming and it wasn't fruitful for them because we already had our own businesses and everything. We did as Indians. So then we get around to 1830s because now they've built up their ammunition. And we had Indians that was like, I want to do something different. Change the way things are done. Because at that point, in those days, 1830, you're talking 1830s, prior to that, a little before that, you had white slaves and you had enslaved Indians. And they wanted to get the white folks out from being slaves. Yeah. Right. It was not conducive to immigrants, girly. So now we move along to 1830 and North South is ready to like, okay, let's dismantle all this shit and start all over again. We're going to reconstruct the way shit is run in North and the South. We got to come to an agreement on how business, trade, and everything is going to run. Because even back then, we were trading with other countries and the islands. Yep. So then you bump into, all right, we see a lot of y'all don't want to do this. So we're going to give you Oklahoma in exchange for the land that you're currently sitting on. We'll move you to Oklahoma, and wherever your territory is, we're going to take it in exchange for what you get in Oklahoma. And in Oklahoma, they assigned individual allotments to the families that were adults. And now they start business over. And the Indians that remained, we remained. And a lot of us didn't want to get down with their shit. Whether we wanted to or not, everything was imposed on you that was not supposed to be. They changed. They classified you to who you want. They wanted to identify you as in their jurisdiction. It didn't matter if you was an Indian or you were colored to me. I don't give a damn. I gotta keep a track of this paperwork, and I don't know who the hell is who. So colored, white, because that's all that was over here. Coloreds and whites. You was either white or you was colored and mulatto. Don't forget about that. You was either colored, mulatto, or white. Back then, they needed the government can't keep a track on what people look like. And the best thing to be able to understand whose paperwork they're dealing with is to who is this? Is this a black person or a white person? All right. So set all them over here. Nope, nope, nope. Put them over here. Colors. I need all the white people. Okay? That's all was over here. There was no, you know, written or notification of an Asian or anything. It was just black people and white people. And in between us was mulattoes, our babies. And then they put a hamper on that. Okay. And then after that, now we're gonna dive into this. We're gonna start with the north and then go to the south. That's what I want to do. Smash that like button, y'all. It's crazy. I'll start with the north first. I want to start with the south. Okay, let's start in the north. From now, one thing about the north, they did they do update their uh historical sites with modern day language. They're notorious for that right now. And again, it's up to you to make the corrections. But they do update this. So let me do a share screen. And what we're going to get into, oh, thank Damisha, you sweetheart. Thank you. What we're going to get into is indoctrination, how I want you to read it for yourself. I want you to see for yourself. I'm going to read it with you. We're going to get into U.S. public education in the old days. Okay? What happened to the Indians that remained? What happened to their mindset? Why? What happened to them? What moved them from their natural way of thinking? What did they have to conform to as prisoners of war? Let's dive into it. You will be able to see it. There's so much information out there. Now, I'm not saying everything is factually true because we have historians that come in and use their own personal sense of judgments. And a lot of these historians that come in here, I don't give a damn if they were born here. You could be born here and raised culturally to do the things your culture does. And I'm talking in the islands, the people that look like us, who you really think that is a real mainland Indian is not. That's the first thing you have to understand right now. Everybody that looks like you that now resides on the mainland is not you. You're very fooled. And you know you've been fooled. Because you got to know people's background. Some of them have already been indoctrinated into mainstream white society before you were. And you, the whole time, you think it's you. People get silent when you say the islands, and then you say African, and you really blow their cover when you do this shit. And I know it's kind of upset to hear, but we gotta deal with the truth. Everybody's not us. All right, let's go. Yeah, let's look at some interesting things here in the north. Here we have, this is the Office of Labor Relations release report of 2012, and it's regarding a lot of our education. I'm gonna pop this off for a minute. I want us to focus and just listen. Oops. Here we go. Milestones in Connecticut. Now remember, they updated this shit back in 2012. And they put you they blow because so many of our people are indoctrinated with that African American shit. But then some, it's been so many years, some people are literally African Americans. Literally. What you always have to remember is you're not. So don't conform to the belief of it. That's the trick. You're not. You must always remember that you are the Indian on the mainland that remained and did not go to Oklahoma. That's what you have to have in your head and understand that. Everything else outside you is someone that came in on a ship. A lot of them look like you, and a lot of them accept the racial classification African American because they are African Americans. But what you got to keep in your head is that you are the Indian that remained and didn't go to Oklahoma. Just keep that in your head when you're reading documentation that points to African American. All right, here we go. In the early 1900s, now most of this information is taken from Connecticut Public Schools, a history 1650 to 2000 by Christopher Collier in Connecticut, a fully illustrated history of the state from the 17th century to the present. Now you got to remember, these historians, they go back and they change the racial classification that doesn't apply to you. In the early 1900s, education in Connecticut was very different than it is today. The one-room schoolhouse was a common teaching venue. There were 1,110 one-room schoolhouses in 1899. Students rode to school in horse-drawn wagons. Prayer was part of the school day. In fact, reading passages from the Bible was a routine practice in the classroom. High schools were not prevalent. In 1910, only 61 towns in Connecticut had a 4-year high school. Today, we have 169 towns. Back in 1910. All right. A secondary education gained popularity. Most students in rural areas did not even attend high school. Who do you think lived in the rural areas? Like, who do you think lived in the rural areas? Because you know where I told you all the Iroquois went. All right. The majority attending were from the upper middle class. They had classes back then. Upper middle class. Teachers were licensed on the local level and often inadequately prepared to do their jobs. Milestone. During the past 100 years, several milestones have drastically changed the landscape of education in Connecticut. 1913 school transportation. Norwalk reportedly owned the first automobile for school transportation in the state of Connecticut. Norwalk, Connecticut. 1917, Connecticut trade schools. Connecticut was a national pioneer in implementing trade schools, while most other states began implementing trade schools in the 1920s. Connecticut's exploration of this educational option began with the board's Special Commission on Vocational Education report in 1906. It was followed by the Trade School Act of 1909. The 1909 law provided trade school funding for regular education courses during the day and continuing education programs in the evening. The Federal Smith-Hughes Act of 1917 was a national push for trade schools that helped Connecticut's Trade School Act of 1909 a successful model for other states to follow. In 1919, State Board of Education reform. The General Assembly Act passed an act concerning the appointment, terms, and duties of members of the State Board of Education. The act implemented a major reform of the State Board of Education, including an expansion to 9 members. Before enactment of this law, local school boards presided over school districts. And with this reform came a major shift in power towards the State Board and State Department of Education. 1920 standardized tests. The Bureau of Tests was established in 1920 and an example of Connecticut's administration of standardized tests in their infancy. The 2 tests suggested by the Bureau were National Intelligence Tests, Scale 1, and Terman Group Tests of Mental Ability. The implementation of school tests was a trend not only in Connecticut, but also throughout the rest of the country during the 1920s. Playgrounds. School began to build playgrounds for recreational purposes in the 1920s. Before this time, most students played in the road. As automobiles became more common, playing in the road became hazardous, and other accommodations needed to be made to ensure the safety of students. Teacher certification reform transferred teacher certification authority to the State Board of Education. Before this law, local boards administer teacher certification. This act also created unique grade level requirements for certifying teachers. Physical education and health courses were incorporated into Connecticut schools curricula for the first time with the law enacted in 1921. In 1921, an act to encourage special education provisions for below standard physically or mental was enacted to promote academic support for students with special needs. Also at a time, the once popular one-room schoolhouse began to slowly disappear. There were 653 one-room schoolhouses in 1921. By 1956, there were only 23 in existence throughout the state. In 1924, religious instruction in schools. The Sunday school movement began in the 1920s. During this time period, many schools began to eliminate references to Christianity from the classroom. This was a great concern to many parents. Therefore, they requested additional religious instruction for their children in conjunction with public school offerings. The creation of these release time programs allowed schools to provide on or off-site religious education classes. State I was born in, Bridgeport, adopted the first release time program in New England in 1924. Many other Connecticut municipalities followed suit as they implemented similar programs in the 1930s and 1940s. In 1948, the U.S. Supreme Court in McCollum versus Board of Education found release time programs unconstitutional due to the use of school resources for religious purposes. This was a pivotal court case in the trend towards separation of church and state. In 1925, school finance. School inadequately in Connecticut was addressed in a study completed in 1927 called Financing Education in Connecticut. A proposed plan to enable state of Connecticut to meet more adequately in educational responsibility by the Division of Research and Surveys of the State Board of Education. This group was appointed by the Connecticut General Assemblies to revise the education statutes. Let me take a sip of water. And narrow the inequality gap. School inequality was the result of a variety of different factors, including fiscal issues, rural versus urban demographics, and access to school transportation. This report made several recommendations, including allocation of state grant money for students, and encouraged the use of town tax revenue for school financing. Education professionals continued to use this as a reference source for the next 20 years in order to pursue the goal of unequal education, of an equal education for all. In the 1930s, public secondary schools, the public high school movement began in the 1930s. Now, prior to that being public secondary schools to public high school, it was always Indian school. As there was a sharp increase in the number of students attending some form of secondary schooling. The Depression was a major factor in this movement due to the job shortages, especially in rural towns with the decline of the agriculture industry. Other factors that spurred this movement included immediate employment opportunities for high school graduates and an acceptance of the social belief that young adults should be in an environment specifically tailored to their needs. Also, for the first time, the high school diploma was received as a measure of competency. Competency, y'all. Due to these factors, the number of high school graduates grew exponentially in the early decades of the 20th century. In 1911, 1,580 students were graduates, and in 1938, 14,418 students graduated from high school. The average number of students attending high school also rose significantly. In 1924, there were 32,287 students in attendance, and this number increased to 67,047 students in 1934. 1939, first regional high school in New England. Connecticut opened the first regional high school in New England in 1939. The Housatonic Valley Regional High School in Falls Village, Canaan, was created by Special Act 428, 1937. This school acted as a model for the implementation of regional high schools throughout the country. Regional number 4 was the second regionalized high school system that emerged in 1953. It was comprised of the towns of Chester, Deep River, and Essex. 1940s and 50s, public school construction. School construction projects increased sharply in the 1940s and 50s. After World War II, there was a rise in the number of births known as the baby boom. In addition, the number of children attending high school had almost doubled since the 1930s. The rise of the student population caused an extreme shortage of school facilities. In the early 1940s, the legislature began passing laws to assist with the construction costs, and in 1947, passed Public Act 266 to assist with public school building grants. 1947, Married Teachers Employment Discrimination Prohibition. Right, here we go, y'all. By 1947, discrimination against married women was a common practice. It was a shared belief that women should be homemakers and that a teaching job would interfere with the domestic obligations. In order to address this practice, the General Assembly passed an act which prohibited municipalities from discriminating against married teachers. 1956, the baby boomers, y'all. Middle school and junior high schools. There were 27 junior high schools that emerged in Connecticut between 1956 and 1960. During this time period, school administrators began to recognize the importance of facilitating learning in an environment specific to the needs of the pre-adolescents. In the 1960s, school construction created additional opportunities to incorporate middle schools as part of a school district's educational structure. Therefore, 25 additional middle schools were established by 1969. Math and science expansion. After World War II and the launch of Sputnik, there was a movement in the U.S. for advancement in the fields of science and mathematics. Before this, greater emphasis was placed on subjects such as language, arts, and social studies. During the 1958-59 school year, 464 programs were implemented throughout Connecticut to enhance the math and science curriculum. 1959, special education required. During the 1950s, in addition to the math and science movement, the need for mandatory special education services was acknowledged. By 1958, about 55 school districts had already developed special education programs. This practice was mandated in 1959 with the passage of an act concerning educationally exceptional children. 1960 school transportation financing. 1960s homework. 1963 foreign language courses. 1964 collective bargaining for teachers. That was a union. 1960s racial segregation in Connecticut. Now, here's where we insert a word that did not exist. Connecticut's African American population. Prior to that, what were these so-called African Americans called? What were they? Negroes and coloreds. Well, here we go. I'm going to put the right word in there that Connecticut took out. Connecticut's colored population increased by 68.6%. Or we can use the alternative words that we learned. The alternative word for Negro and colored. You better bet your bottom dollars what that word is. Connecticut's Indian population increased by 68.6% in the 1960s, and the majority resided in urban areas. Where did the Iroquois go after their asses were demolished out of Canada? Where did we read that they all dispersed into? Come on, y'all. Where did them Indians go? I showed y'all this. In the inner cities, in the urban areas across the 50 states, is where them damn Indians went. Connecticut's Indian population increased by 68.6% in the 1960s, and the major resided in urban areas. On the other hand, many of the Connecticut's white residents made a demographic shift towards the suburbs because they were in the urban areas. This led to the racial imbalance in Connecticut schools. In 1967, finally born, 43.4% of the Hartford students were Indians, but in West Hartford. West Hartford is owned by the Jews. Facts. The figure was fewer than 1% in West Hartford. As racial segregation became an issue in Connecticut schools, the State Board of Education asked local school boards to take immediate actions to address this issue. Project Concern. Project Concern addressed racial segregation by busing students from the city to the suburbs. Yep. This program was born out of recommendations from the report Equality and Quality in Public Schools. The report also specified that segregation in schools lead to unequal education for minorities and ultimately a society tolerant of segregation. Advanced Placement Enrichment Programs. Education and Finance, 1975. Movement. Moment of silence. Through legislation, Connecticut enacted a moment of silence to observe the public schools in 1975. Observed by public schools in 1975. Prayer in schools. Daily recitation of the Lord's Prayer and reading from the Bible passages were authorized under Connecticut law and took place in schools in the early 1960s. 60s. I'm going to read that again. Through legislation, Connecticut enacted a moment of silence to be observed by the schools in 1975. Now I'm in kindergarten. Prayer in schools, daily recitation of the Lord's Prayer, and reading from the Bible passages were authorized under Connecticut law and took place in schools into the early 1960s. However, the U.S. Supreme Court in Eagle versus Vitale made prayer in schools an unconstitutional practice. The idea of the separation between church and state was further advanced by the court's ruling in Lemon versus Kurt Zima, which specifies that legislation should not be combined with religious issues. The rulings led many states to adopt silent minute laws to allow for a moment of personal reflection, formally observed through prayer. Then you get the statewide mastery test, Educational Enhancement Act of 86, education cost sharing, Chef versus O'Neill. And that was a good case, arose over the concern that schools in Hartford area were isolating students through racial segregation and therefore did not provide an equal and adequate education. This pivotal case began in 1988, continues to affect Connecticut's educational system by requiring new plans, still being formulated today, to address racial, ethnic, and economic isolation in Connecticut schools. Then you got the charter schools, school readiness, Connecticut Digital Library in 2000, school bullying and academic achievement. I had enough of Connecticut. It's still racist, no matter how you slice it, sadly to say. So let's just move on. That's the North. And believe it or not, Connecticut was the leader in educational, push for educational equality. So now let's go to South Carolina. Let's go, y'all. Because now you're going to see what we was called back then. Let's go. South Carolina acts on education topics. Joint resolution. This is in 1889, y'all. Joint resolution to authorize the Board of Regents of the Lunatic Asylum to inquire into and report upon suitable localities for the establishment of an asylum for the colored insane, and also to call for donations of lands for such purpose. Lunatic asylum for the colored insane. An establishment of an asylum for the colored insane. Section 1, be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the state of South Kakalaki, now met and sitting in General Assembly, and by the authority of the same, that the Board of Regents of the Lunatic Asylum be and the same are hereby charged with the following duties. First, that prior to the first day of July 1890, the said Board of Regents shall cause to be advertised once at each county courthouse in the several counties of the state and one newspaper published at such county court, or if at any county courthouse no newspaper is published, shall cause to be advertised as official notices are usually advertised at such places. A notice to the effect that the policy of establishing a separate state asylum for the colored insane has been under consideration by the General Assembly, and that the Board of Regents has been empowered to receive counties, communities, or persons in this state bids or proposal to donate at least 300 acres of land, with or without suitable buildings, or money to be used in the purchase of the same, one or more or all, for the purpose of establishing such institution within the county, which shall submit a bid or proposal which may be accepted by the General Assembly, and the said Board of Regents shall report to the next General Assembly all such bids or proposals as may be substituted. All right, we still going, y'all. All right. Now, wait a minute now. 'Cause I thought it went. I'm got to reshare it. Here we go, y'all. I ain't finished. I ain't finished. Let's get here now. Where is it? I want to make sure I grab the right thing. Oh yeah, I got it. It's this one. Um, Here we go. um, South Carolina College, 1850. The South Carolina General Assembly passed over 750 acts and joint resolutions during the 1800s pertains to education. Prior to the American Civil War, the majority of all the acts dealt with the establishment of benevolent societies that were set up to help build private academies, schools for orphans and the poor, and to provide an education for local children. After the American Civil War, listen, y'all, the greatest majority of all acts were established for the establishment of or modification of a specific school district within a specific county. For the duration of the 19th century, this is the 1800s, many also dealt with the establishment or modification of charters for the state colleges and universities across the state. On December 21st, 1811, the South Carolina General Assembly passed its first act to appropriate funds for free schools across the state. Each district and or election district was authorized one school per member of the House of Representatives in each district, and the state would pay up to $300 per year towards each schoolmaster hired. The General Assembly also defined the number of school commissioners to be appointed in each district. However, the citizens had to pay for and to build the allocated number of schoolhouses in their district. Although this was a fairly decent first step, it was by no means a success. All right. On December 1624, on December 16th, 1824, the South Carolina General Assembly passed an act authorizing the building of poorhouses in each district county. While this initial act did not include the language concerning education, it was not long before subsequent legislation did. The language. Yo, y'all, you have to listen closely to this, y'all. In the 1830, this is Indian removal, y'all. In the 1830 legislative reports and resolutions of the General Assembly, it was reported that South Carolina had 860 free schools and 8,572 students enrolled across the various districts and parishes. On December 19, 1835, the South Carolina General Assembly passed an act to provide guidance to those public servants as to their responsibilities in the free public school system, including establishment of school districts, school commissioners, school trustees, and provided fines for neglect. In 1841, legislative reports and resolutions of the General Assembly, it was reported that South Kakalaki had 869 free schools and 9,187 students enrolled across the various districts and parishes. In December 22nd, 1859, the South Carolina General Assembly had passed an act to exempt all schoolmasters, professors, teachers, and students of the several schools, academies, and colleges of the state from the performance of road duty. From the performance of road duty. Listen, on December 20th, 1866, the South Kakalaki GA passed a joint resolution to authorize all commissioners of free schools across the state to receive any sum provided by U.S. Congress or other donations for the education of colored children and to apply all funds received to said purpose. This is what happens when you're a prisoner of war. Do you do understand this, y'all, in the chat if you're listening? Gotta go to Congress. Feds when it comes to dealing with these coloreds. The completely revised state constitution of 1868 significantly modified the state's approach to education. The Office of Superintendent of Education was established to set the agenda for working with each county's Board of Examiners and school trustees. A new school tax was established along with a poll tax to pay for public free schools. Listen, on March 26, 1869, the South Carolina GA passed a joint resolution to appropriate $25,000 as directed in General Order Number 139, issued by Major General Edward R.S. Canby, and bearing the date of December 3rd, 1867, for the support of free schools. These funds to be apportioned based on the number of students in each county. Per the same General Number 139, the South Carolina General Assembly passed another joint resolution dated February 3rd, 1870, to provide back pay to teachers due to misunderstanding of the law among teachers and county school commissioners. February 1870, the South Carolina General Assembly passed its first comprehension and statewide school law since the ratification of the 1868 Constitution. This act included 50 sections, which detailed explanation of how the new system of free common schools would work and would ensure that colored students received a fair education. I'll put these things in the chat for y'all to get because I don't want to hold myself up with this. But we could jump down here. This link for you to really look over and read. On December 23rd, 1889, the South Carolina General Assembly passed a joint resolution for the regents of the state lunatic asylum to advertise for proposals from the various counties, communities, or persons to create a suitable lunatic asylum for colored in the state. All right. Now, y'all can read that, but let's just go. I want to get rid of this. Here we go. Because I want to share this. I just pulled it up through the Google. All right, let's get it, y'all. Brace yourself. These are the central lunatic asylums. Let me take that back. Babe, here's the structure right here. Well, look, honey, it's right here. You know, one of these. So these are the asylums. These old structures. Take a look at it. Central Lunatic Asylum for Colored. That's Virginia's. Seeking asylum. Now, you got to understand colored asylum, Indians, insanity. All right? You see it. I'm not going to play. I'm just not. They're not. Indians. You see it. Colored asylum, Indians, insanity, and American. You see this. I'm you listen here, y'all. You can't make this up. You see it. I'm gonna blow this up. You see it. Colored asylums, and they put this in here. Indians insanity. I keep telling y'all who the goddamn Indian is, but y'all don't want to understand it. These crazy Indians, that basically what they're saying. Here, I will do this. Put it right here. I don't want to do that. Damn, why can I make it bigger? Can I make it bigger? Nope, it won't let me. All right, so nope. I'll do it this way. Sorry, y'all. All right. I'm going to do it this way. Save it. All right, here we go. All right, let me pull it up. Stop sharing for a minute and pull it up here. Let me C. Should I be in here somewhere? Okay, there we go. There you go, y'all. Let me stop the bottom part for a minute. Indians insanity. Color the silence, Indians and Indians insanity. We insane because you took our land. This is in 1918. Now, can you give me a 1 in the chat if you only see, if you see any people of Asian looking descent or anyone claiming to have came on the Bering Strait? Because Indian insanity, colored asylums, Indian insanity. Can you please tell me what you see here? So, who the Indians? I'm just questioning you. You mean to tell me they're going to show a picture with no Indians? So, they got to be referring to somebody. Colored asylum, Indians, insanity. Correct. Correct. So, can you please do me a favor? Because it's colored asylums, because that's the color of your skin. Indians, insanity. Can you please point out the Indians in this photo? Please. Can someone, all I'm saying, this is why I don't have time to be on other panels. I'm in just real shit. I'm not up for debate. I'm looking for a Native American. Can somebody, do you see any Native Americans in this fucking photo? Facts. Call them crazy if you want. Or show me the Indians with the insanity. With the long, straight hair, black. Can you please point them out? I'm looking for that physical description of the Indian, the colored asylums, Indians, insanity. I'm looking for the straight black hair that the little Slav foreigner comes around and boasts the fucking about. And the one that YK describes and see. Show me the motherfuckers in this picture. Show me the description, Shay, or silence yourself, of the Indians with the fucking straight hair. Or are these the bushy head Indians that they speak about? Told y'all motherfuckers, I ain't playing with nothing. It's thunder. And that's the thunder today. I ain't gotta tell Gary it's always gonna be thunder over here. This is in 1918, y'all. Not the 1800s, 1918. My grandmother, great grandmother, was born at this time in South Carolina, not in little slave port, Charlestown. Hell no. I'm done. So I say all this. Let me take this down. Let me see, is there anything else that I got here? that I wanted to share. All right. Now look at this. You got to see the tactic, sneaky tactic. Now, everybody see that title, right? You could type it in the chat, girly. Hey, girly, could you type exactly what that title is there? Colored Asylums, Indians, Insanity. Please. Could you type that in the chat room? Or if I'm a little faster than you, I could do it. Indians, you forgot to type insanity. That's important. Oh, I'm going to type exactly what it says. That's all right, love. I got it. Now, I'm doing this for a reason. She laughing. All right. So, because I want to go to something, I'm going to take all this down. All right. Now I got to get back to where I am. Because I want to blow this shit up. Now, let's go back. So we see the title, folks. Let me take it down. Now I'm going to show you. The current Central State Hospital in Petersburg, Virginia was established in 1870 as a central lunatic asylum for colored insane. Now let's put our little message up. Let me get over here. Indian insane. Oh, where y'all at? I know oh, here it is. Now, there it is. Indians insanity. What does that say? Colored insane, Indians insanity. Boom. Crazy Indian Hospital. So there we go. These pictures look even better. And this is they try to update it. They try to update it. Well, then, yeah, they updated this in 2012. But I got their ass. You can't do it. You can't hide shit from me. You could try. Well, no African Americans at that time, baby. So, um, I showed this for education So, for the purposes of you to see and understand that these people running around here as are not who you think they are, whether they're young or old. They just want you to want to see what you know. And the more you open your mouth, you fuck up. I'm only going to show what I'm only giving you a little hand. I have some very powerful shit. And I make sure that I pass it out to trusted people to hold. In case anything happened to me, you better believe everything I have, it's in 8 different places. I'm only coming out with the tidbits. You have every reason in the world to stand on that alternative word, Indian. You the damn Indian, and you got to understand that. Even in that asylum, there were only colored people and white people. They had separate wards. No Native American. And they're real sad. See how hit dogs holler? I would love braids. Look at this, y'all. Don't time them out. This is what happens when hit dogs, they holler. I told you, I show shit that gets to their motherfucking soul. I'm thunder. And instead of debunking it, this motherfucker's worried about my braids, my beautiful braids. And I'm not bald headed. I have very nice, beautiful afro. Curly. Go look in my YouTube tab. You see my big old afro. I just don't like doing my hair. But y'all see this? See, this is what happens. Ain't nothing bald headed about me, man. One thing I got is hair, baby. Too much of it. Don't worry, you'll see it in the summer. I'll rock it again when I don't feel like going to get it braided. But you have to understand this, y'all. When you hit these motherfuckers soul, this is why I said we will never. We will never ever be able to come to a common understanding with motherfuckers that look like us. These people ain't from the mainland. And when you ain't from the mainland, I'm sorry. Because these are the motherfuckers running around trying to teach you out of your true identity on the mainland. I guess this guy done caught up and saw us showing his picture that he had. I mean, look at his picture, y'all, with his little mask on. He done showed up on the damn in the damn chat room. Y'all see his picture? I get your motherfucking laugh on. He done showed up on the panel. Showed up in the chat room, y'all. Look at his picture and look at that one. Let's get it, y'all. He done showed up in the motherfucking chat room. I'll be damned. He done showed up in the chat room, y'all. They angry, honey. They get angry when you put this truth out here because it fucks their life all up. When that so-called dead Indian jump up, it fucks them up. I'm telling you, y'all. So bad that this motherfucker showed up in the chat room. Look at this dude's face. Yo, screenshot this shit. This motherfucker that showed up in the chat room. Every time an Indian jumps up and declare, it puts a dagger in the heart of a wannabe or wannabe pan boo boo. Their plan is not working out anymore. Shay, you really have to go with the Jamaicans and stuff because we're not from the islands where the Africans were brought. Yeah, they got the same hairline. The guy in the photo, Robert Rand. Same photo, same person, same hairline. We done ragged him so bad, y'all. He done showed up in the chat room. My hairline and edges will never be like that. Let's get a snapshot now. Oh, hell to the no. Mr. Rand, he done showed up mad. There he is with his glasses on, y'all. He mad as hell. You showing his picture. He mad, y'all. I'm sorry. Who really got the bald head? Facts. He showed up. Every time an Indian rise up and we come out with this information, and it's just more, y'all. It's more. It's endless information that was left behind for us. And every day I'm going to come in here with something for you. Insane Indians. And then when you look at the people, who is it? All colors. No description of what Rob and them are given or what society has tried to portray. You can't erase us, man. We're X generation. Not going to happen. Nice try. But he is a reminder of my wanting to take a bow because their behaviors put me up at the top. I don't even got to respond in a mean manner to this person because we're winning. And what we have to do is wipe out the ones that look like us. That's all we got to do. That ain't us. Just wipe them out and keep moving. And that's what this platform is all about. Educating you. I told you when I come on, I'm giving you stuff little by little that you have to pay very close attention to. Better believe all them crazy Indians in that asylum got land and they're too feeble-minded to maintain their land. So guess who gets to oversee it? As it states on the census sheets. not in the U.S. Show me show me, Shay, the millions of slaves on the mainland whose census sheet says African. Show me the 1850 census where it says all those millions of slaves, African over here, and I'll go pull you the records of where the fuck they were taken and when they're actually noted as Africans. Thousands of them. Over here is colored and Negro bra and bushy head colored Negro Indians. Now, if you want me to go get the records where it says that they're literally African and they came off the fucking ship, I can go get those for you. But it ain't from the mainland, bro. And this is what the Pan-Africans hate. So what do? Fuck it. Let's go take a spit test where you keep spitting, boo-boo. So I'll open the piano, and if no one has nothing to say, I leave you in here to dialogue with each other. So I'll put the link in the chat. Anybody that want to come up and talk, you're more than welcome. If not, I'm just going to leave the music like I be doing and let you dialogue with each other. You could talk about today's topic because today's topic was important. When you digest it, you'll say, yes, it was. Let me pin this to the top. You're welcome to come up here. If not, I'll just play the music and let you interact with each other. But I'll be waiting here. Gotta put my little stuff back up. All right, the piano is open, y'all.
Time's been moving slowly, so we already in too deep. Can't get no sleep on each other, heavy teasing all day. And when the sun sets, you asking me to come through, kick it with you. Night turn to morning dew, then you let's face it, baby, you know all the places, my places, your place, my place, your place, my place, just face it, no one knows my places like you do, your places like I do. Got the key to the lock, we in our own zone. Make yourself at home, get to know mine on the inside. Can meet at yours next time. And you feel it freshening, lose control. You don't wanna go slow, for sure. We both already know your place is my place. Now Thank